Hi there. Can you hear me okay? I'm Naomi Rossow. I am Phil Haugen's sister, and I know him pretty good. I can just wing this. I don't have much of a speech, but we grew up together, doing everything together. My folks really spent a lot of time on us kids. We grew up in that era where they didn't have a lot of money to do a lot of other things, so their main entertainment was us, and my dad hauled us around to a lot of rodeos. We didn't have the best horses, but we had a lot of try, and Phil was the best at that. For 50 years, he was born in gosh, what year were you born again, Phil? Can't even remember, but anyway, about 50 years ago, we started going to the Home on the Range rodeo. Phil loved it. The first time he saw it, I think he was only 4 or 5. His birthday is August 10th. We went to that rodeo every year on his birthday or the week of his birthday until he outgrew us and was going on his own. From there, he went to the MT Saddle Club Fun Frolics, Little Britches Rodeos, High School Rodeo, NDRA Rodeo, PRCA. He's now a gold card member in the PRCA. And he had a lot of success in all those areas. I think, when I think back about his rodeo career, in 1989, he won the Linderman Award. It was a really proud moment for our family. We were all there. It was at Cheyenne Frontier Days. And it was really neat to see someone in your family that you know has worked so hard be awarded an award like that at a national level. The Linderman Award, you can research it if you want. It's the cowboy that wins the most money on both ends of the arena. And in the PRCA, that's not easy to do. In fact, there isn't even a Linderman Award winner every year, but I think about 11 states have brought the Linderman Award home. North Dakota is one of them, and Phil's the only Linderman Award winner here. We grew up in a neighborhood in Williston where there were a lot of horses and there were a lot of kids, and that's all Phil cared about, horses and kids. My mom ran a daycare for 30 years, and he'd get home from school and he'd go down to the barn, and he came up from the barn when it was bedtime, and he usually had one of those kids tagging along, and he kind of spent his whole life dedicating himself to kids. He really loves youth. And our kids, our sons, Seth Murphy and Lane Rossow, they've been hugely influenced by Phil. He's taught them, he's provided horses, he's found horses for us. He's always made sure we were well mounted. Our daughter Elizabeth Murphy, she had the same successes because of Phil. He took a lot of time, and because of other family members as well, but Phil really took an interest in kids, and he still does to this day, coming up here and doing clinics. You know, when he goes to his clinics, and even when he worked with our kids all those years, and he's always had a line, be your best. And he didn't tell the kids be the best. He said be your best. And he instilled that in them, and he repeated it. It's on shirts, it's on cards. He just wanted to influence them that way, to be the best they could be with what they had to work with. And he's been a great member, an influencing factor in our family. He's put family first. He's got 2 kids of his own they're just dynamic, and they're winners. And he knows how to make a winner in a kid and in a horse. And when we grew up in the neighborhood, the Sundbys didn't live far from us. They had an indoor barn, and they were supportive of Phil. And Phil remembers all those people. He talks about them all the time, and he loves to run into them. But I always think about, I'm going to introduce Ed Sundby here. He's going to come up and speak more about Phil. But I think about when my mom took care of their kids, and Phil would get off the school bus and come in the house, and Ty Sundby would be waiting at the door, and he would look up at him, and Phil would say, well, Ty, what do you want to do today? And Ty would say, ever what you want, Phil. He just couldn't wait for Phil to get home. I just have one final note I want to read here, and I got to get to my note on my phone to remember it. But Wayne Herman, he's not here today, but he wrote something that I want to share with you as far as Phil being an induction nominee. He said, Phil could ride broncs and rope calves with the best and all the way to the highest level, good enough to win the Linderman Award, which takes a true cowboy who can win at both ends of the arena. Phil is the only cowboy from our great state that has went on to win this prestigious award. Wayne Herman, class of 2014. So thank you for your time. There's a lot of great cowboys that are being nominated, and congratulations to all of them. I'd like to introduce Ed Sundby on behalf of my brother Phil. Thank you.
Well, like Naomi said, I'm Ed Sundby, and I think she took all my notes. I said, you go ahead and go first. Well, I made a mistake. No, you've met Naomi. Her brother Barry is here for Phil. And besides them two, I've known Phil as long as anybody. Obviously, they're family. They live just down the street from us, so we were together. So, a little more history on Phil. He always wanted to be a cowboy since he had horses. He went to high school. That's where he got his start to compete in real competition. He was state champion calf roper, state champion all around, and he went to 3 national final rodeos. That's where the college scouts or coaches noticed Phil. He was approached by many. He chose Casper, Wyoming. He finished up at Casper. He went to the University of Wyoming in Laramie. When he was done there, he was recruited by Pratt, Kansas, to coach and get kids to come there, help them. He was there a bit. Then he went on to SWSO, Southwest Oklahoma State University in Weatherford. And he was there, and they won a national champion under Phil's coaching. So his recruitment, his coaching was very valuable. He qualified for the prairie circuits and the Badlands circuit 12 times. And like Naomi said, winning the Linderman Award was a highlight. Only cowboy in North Dakota to do it. It's a very hard thing to do. Today, still Phil still competes. But what I admire most about Phil, he has given back. For 30 years, he has held clinics, schools, to help young people or people of all ages know how to handle their horse, know how to handle themselves. To me, that's admirable. With somebody with his accomplishments and gives back, that's what champions do, and that's what Phil is. He still holds clinics, anywhere from 15 to 20 clinics a year in the United States and some in Canada. So he's represented very well, so people enjoy him coming here. He holds his schools in North Dakota. He competes in North Dakota. North Dakota is always home to Phil. So I know it's an honor to be inducted into the Cowboy Hall of Fame, but I really believe the Cowboy Hall of Fame itself would be honored to have a cowboy like Phil in their Hall of Fame. So when you cast your ballot, remember what Phil's accomplishments are and what he has done for youth and help people progress in the sport they love. Thanks.
I had the opportunity here in December going down to the national finals. I stopped and saw a good friend of mine by the name of Chip Whitaker. Chip is also a multiple Linderman Award winner, and his son. I believe that they are the only father-son duo to win the Linderman Award, in not only once, but several times. In visiting with Chip, we got to talking about Phil, and very seldom, Chip is a pretty reserved gentleman, but he actually got excited speaking about Phil and remembers watching him and seeing him come along. And I mentioned that he would possibly be up for nomination to go into the Hall of Fame in North Dakota. And he was shocked that Phil was not already in there. He said it's unusual, he said, when you have one Linderman Award winner from North Dakota, and he said, you guys can't even put him in the Hall of Fame? And made me feel a little bit bad at first, but another thing that has come to mind is Dwayne Howard thought a lot of Phil, and before Dwayne had passed away, I had an opportunity to spend an afternoon with him, and that was before he actually got hurt and sick. And we visited about a lot of things. And one of the things that Dwayne stressed to me is, he said, whatever you're doing, he said, you got to give back. And you've got to give back to the sport. Sport's treated you well. This lifestyle has treated you well. And Phil has been an epitome of that, as far as I'm concerned, with what he has done with the youth and given back to the sport. And it's kind of tough for me to speak this way because I know every one of the cotton picking nominees, and they're all very deserving. But I would like to ask that you please cast your nomination for Phil for induction. Thank you.